Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40k Universe. I am your host Gershwin and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about Khorne as we get into the Bloodthirster. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40k content every single day. And if you have any suggestions, comment down below. If you do enjoy our content, thank our patrons on Patreon. Link in the description if you want to support. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the greater demons of Khorne. The Bloodthirsters. A Bloodthirster is a greater demon of the chaos god Khorne. He is the manifestation of the unreasoning rage and savagery of total war. Khorne takes the essence of brutality and fills these greater demons with power. Power that comes from the raw and violent emotions of psychically sensitive beings in real space. Every blow ever struck, every life ever taken in anger, distilled into a single, towering form of iron and sinew. As the living embodiment of war, rage, and murder, Bloodthirsters represent the bloodiest side of warfare and are renowned as the greatest warriors amongst demonkind. Only the boldest and most heroic of mortal champions would ever stand the slimmest chance of survival in combat with a Bloodthirster, and even then, he has a small chance of victory. In appearance, these savage monsters resemble the stereotypical demons of ancient Terra. At over 30 feet tall, they tower over mortals. Their skin is a deep red of encrusted blood. Their gore-fletched hides are covered in crimson fur, the color of spilt blood, and their eyes are milky white without visible irises or pupils. Their feet are hooved, and the ground burns at their passing. Their bodies are impossibly muscular and covered in iron-tipped barbs. From their backs sprout gigantic bat-like wings, enabling them to soar over the battlefield before diving into the fiercest and bloodiest areas of battle, striking at will. Most hideous of all are their faces, which are bestial, almost canine, the visage of Khorne's most favored beings in the universe. Their snarling maws are filled with fangs, the size of mortal swords. Bloodthirsters wear ancient, ornate armor, sections of which are adorned with the glowing skull of the Mark of Khorne as a sign of his blessing. The iconography of his armor is usually bronze or iron black, upon which the glowing red runes of Khorne are proof against the most fearsome of psychic attacks, a fact that strikes utter horror into the hearts of the most accomplished of battle psychers. True to the Lord of Rage, a Bloodthirster's armor is also proof against the ranged weapons of any coward that would dare attempt to strike them down from a distance, rather than engaging them in righteous close combat. As well as their razor-sharp claws, the greater demons of Khorne are known to carry two primary weapons which epitomize murder. The first is a massive demonic battle axe, which is the iconic weapon of Khorne, forged in the heat of the rage of the Lord of War, and imbued with the essence of caged greater demons. The keen-edged blade is at least the height of a space marine, and it's haft several times longer. Perhaps the most powerful weapons ever created, these gigantic battle axes can cleave an armored battle tank in half. These weapons not only destroy the foe's physical body, but often consume their souls as well, as an offering to the blood god. The second weapon a Bloodthirster carries is a long, barbed whip, which is capable of dealing death from range. Since Bloodthirsters are obsessed with spreading death and destruction, the use of such a weapon enables them to strike down a distant foe with the shattering power of their deafening bellow. Though not as satisfying as cleaving apart a foe with a sweep of their axe, they do allow a Bloodthirster to reach and destroy even the fastest and most agile of their foes. But the Bloodthirsters of Khorne are not simple, mindless berserker engines of war. They are the generals and ultimate champions of the demonic legion of the blood god. Countless lesser demons march beneath them in unstoppable assaults against the enemies of their master and his chosen mortal servants. Bloodthirsters are the masters of every tactic that leads to spilling blood. They hate stealth and guile. They see it as a coward's way and direct their forces towards the total defeat of their enemies with stunning brutality. Against such a combination of rage and leadership, none can stand. There are 8 distinct types of Bloodthirsters amongst the demonic legions of Khorne, but it would be a fatal error to believe that even the lowest ranked, the Bloodthirsters of the 8th host, are in some way lesser warriors than their kin, or that they possess a reduced threat. In truth, only those versed in demonic lore have any notion of the varied ranks of Bloodthirsters, for all of them seem equally terrifying and destructive to the mortals who feel their ire upon the battlefield. Nonetheless, each of the 8 ranks of Bloodthirsters possesses their own lethal skills, armaments, and titles. Those of the 8th host, for example, are known as Bloodthirsters of unfettered fury. They are the most numerous of the Lord of Skull's greater demons. In one fist, these colossal fiends carry a massive axe of Khorne, which they can carve battle tanks in two with. On the other hand, the Bloodthirster wields a vicious lash of Khorne, immense whips studded with brass spikes. These weapons slice through the air with a thunderous crack, breaking necks and entangling limbs, or driving on the bloodletters and fleshhounds around them. These monstrous beings are skilled generals, and are often seen commanding Khorne's demonic legions in attacks in real space. By comparison, those of the 6th rank, known as the Bloodthirsters of insensate rage, are the most mindlessly savage of their kind. The fires of Khorne's forge fill their chests, stoking their fury to a state that renders them utterly incoherent with anger. So great is their ire-fueled strength that these demons are able to heft immense brass axes as tall as a fortress gate, and the cohorts of Khorne are driven into a frenzy in the wake of their furnace-hot fury. The arrival of such an entity on the battlefield heralds the coming of the end. And the only other known rank within Imperial records is the infamous Bloodthirsters of the Third Host, known as the Wrath of Khorne. Soaring through the skies on vast, leathery wings, Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirsters scour the battlefield for their prey. These arrogant huntsmen are charged by Khorne with a sacred duty, humbling the mightiest heroes of the foe and butchering them in the name of the Lord of Battle, breathing jets of hellfire, wielding a blood flail and monstrous axe of Khorne. There is no greater champion of war. Looking through Imperial records, one of the most notable bloodthirsters to have been encountered by the Imperium was the Storm Prince, a bloodthirster trapped beneath the frozen surface of the world of Acheron, lost in the warp for centuries. When the Bloodraven Space Marines, the Eldar of Craftworld Baltan, and the Orcs, led by war boss Gorgots, all came to Acheron in search of the legendary artifact known as the Spear of Cain, the use of the weapon awakened the demon. Only by combining their forces in an uneasy alliance were the three factions able to defeat the Storm Prince and prevent him from unleashing a rampage across the galaxy in the name of the Blood God. Another one of the most infamous bloodthirsters to have been encountered by the Imperium was Ka-Aksha, also called the Usurper. It is written that the Usurper is one of the most powerful warp entities ever spawned. Exactly what deeds earned this bloodthirster its name remains hidden to all but those truly steeped in the most forbidden of lore. Some whisper that having attained such power as to set itself apart from the Blood God, the Usurper attempted to turn against his master. Angered to such a degree by his betrayal that an entire demon world burned, Khorne is said to have imprisoned the Bloodthirster within a mighty axe of warp-forged metal, which he cast out from the warp and into the cold, hard dimension of reality. The ancient and feared weapon, known as the Axe of Ka-Aksha, is spoken of in numerous texts known to the Hellseers of the Screaming Vortex, and also to the Inquisition's Ordo Hereticus. How many ambitious and brutal warlords have wielded the axe that serves as a prison for the Bloodthirster cannot be said. Many of the Screaming Vortex's most infamous and bloodthirsty murderers have sought the axe, and a number have mastered it, for a brief time at least. In truth, all ultimately fall to the rage of the Bloodthirster within, for mortals cannot harness such power without a price being exacted. The price is inevitably the soul of the bearer, a soul so blood-engorged that it makes the most satisfying of meals for the demon entrapped within the axe. This demon weapon is fabled across the length of the breadth of the glowing worlds. The axe is located on the planet of Messia, but as every true champion of the Blood God knows, such treasures are rarely to be claimed without a challenge. The axe is not lying around waiting to be picked up, but instead in the possession of one of the countless billions of bloated mutants that shambles across the surface of Messia's night side. How the mutant came in possession of the axe cannot be known, but when the tortured light of Messia's polluted sun falls upon the creature, it shall be transformed into a cunning and devious adversary, and at that very moment realize the true nature of the weapon clutched in its filth-encrusted claws. When that happens, the once lowly mutant will have in his possession the means of laying claim to an entire world, unless it is opposed by another servant of the Blood God. And those were 40 facts on the Bloodthirsters. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to share it with your friends. If you have a friend who's kind of on the fence about buying a Bloodthirster, show him this video and hopefully it inspires him to buy the model. The Bloodthirster models, or the tabletop Bloodthirsters, look amazing. They're just absolutely metal, as metal as 40k can get. They're not as strong on the tabletop in terms of like tactics. I've gone up against a couple Bloodthirsters in the past with my orcs, and I was able to defeat them pretty easily. Rockets are really easy to, with a bunch of rockets, it's easy to destroy a Bloodthirster, but they're still fun, and they still look really badass to have on the battlefield, especially if you have one of the winged Bloodthirsters, the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirsters, because they're flying around and they're kind of a nuisance. Sometimes they're a way for you to like get your foe's army to fire at the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster. Meanwhile, all your other guys are doing work, like berserkers and stuff like that. But yeah, comment down below. Let me know how you guys use Khorne Bloodthirsters on the battlefield. If you don't play tabletop, you really should. It's awesome. Or at least collect, because like I said, these Bloodthirster models look amazing. If you guys have any suggestions for other topics of Warhammer 40k, if you want us to go in detail on anything, let us know in the comment section below. We will do more Bloodthirster videos, specifically like detailing what different Bloodthirsters did, because there have been a lot during the Imperial history, so we're going to talk about each berserker in a standalone video. But yeah, any other topics, just comment down below. If you enjoy our content, thank our patrons on Patreon. Link in the description if you want to support us. It's $1 a month, and it helps us create these videos for you guys. If you can't support us, liking, commenting, and sharing, especially sharing these videos, it helps out. Yeah, we're getting really close to 150 subscribers, so thank you guys. We're gonna do a giveaway pretty soon, and yeah, thanks for everything, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. This is Gershwan with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Oh, if you took a freedom, in any situation.